Celebrate life and have a good time.
In the world where we trial and tested, they jar protected, gave them powers for breakfast. Not much hours and hours that I've invested, though I channel the powers that can't be messed with. Powers.
Hey, yo, man, it's myself, 100 Eyes from the Powers for Breakfast show, the most edutaining podcast in the UK, people. And today, joining me, we have Mr. 92.3 himself, Mr. Big Man, the boss. How you doing?
I'm good.
You go by the name of Mr. DJ Deluxe.
Yes, as a performer, DJ Deluxe is the name I use. Yeah.
So, people didn't understand when I said Mr. Big Man, Mr. 92.3. This is the owner of Deja Vu and the founder. Yo, big up.
Well, let me just start off by saying I am not the founder. Yeah?
Okay.
I'm not the founder. I'm a person that I believe in giving everyone their flowers, props, and involvement.
Okay.
With regards to Deja.
Okay.
Yes, I'm the boss of Deja.
Okay.
But Deja was a collective of people.
Okay.
Firstly, I was brought to Deja.
Okay.
Yeah, I was brought to Deja.
When?
In 1996. In 1996.
Okay, yep.
So I have to give props to Laura.
Okay.
Yeah, Lady Laura, the Duchess.
Okay.
I also have to give props to a man like Jimmy.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Laura, really, that brought me to Deja.
How did that come about?
It came about, for those that know a bit about me and a bit about Deja started off as a garage music station.
Yes.
But at the time, I was actually a drum and bass jungle DJ and producer.
Mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll try and...
So did she bring you in to try and switch up the radio?
No. What it was at the time, thinking back, the mid-90s, I had a record shop in Leytonstone.
Okay.
Called Togetherness Records.
Okay, baby.
And at the time...
Selling vinyls?
Selling vinyls, yeah. So that was me and a couple of guys, Busy B and the crew. We had a jungle drum and bass record label, Rain Records. And...
I on label, yeah? Rain Records.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was a jungle DJ and producer, but also could play house and garage.
Okay, yep.
At the time, we was doing shows on stations like Pressure FM, and some of the team after Pressure FM left and started doing Rinse FM. Okay. So I was actually a DJ on Rinse.
Okay.
Sometimes playing garage.
Okay. Sometimes
playing jungle.
Okay.
And to try and go to the next level, as it would at the time, when I looked around and looked at, right, this garage thing is really kind of... Taking off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing for me was, as a producer and engineer, I would make my own songs, but also engineer and produce for other people. And there was another producer, Nosha, Persian Prince, that would come to my studio and I would engineer, mix and master their tracks.
Okay.
He's a jungle producer as well.
Okay.
He came to me and was like, I've got this tune, work with me.
Okay.
Engineer it.
Okay.
So when I listened to it, I was like, brother, this is slowed down jungle.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it was slowed. He goes, no, it's not. It's garage. I said, that's not garage. It's slow down jungle. I mixed mastered the tune, and it went out, done its things. It was dangerous, same people, done its thing, but it blew up on the garage circuit, not the jungle circuit. So I started going to a few garage raves and and I was like, oh, that same tune that I produced, co-engineered for those guys in my studios, doing massive things in the garage scene.
Who are the guys?
They're same people they went by.
Okay.
The name of.
Okay.
The tune's called Dangerous.
Okay.
And it contains some samples that were regularly or were used in jungle music at the time.
Okay.
But the thing was fast forwarding, locally, where it was getting played by a lot of like garage DJs, and it was getting heavy rotation in clubs, started paying attention a bit more. And like, what? Went to a couple of garage raves as a jungle DJ. Started seeing a lot of my people people that I grew up with, people that I moved with, people that used to come to our events and now going to those events. And I was like, am I the only one noticing that a lot of my circle are now over there?
Okay.
And they're actually listening to products that we can make or would engineer.
Okay.
So I was like, do you know what I mean? The business person that I am, let me do a little bit more research. So I done a little bit more research. I was like, well, what's the biggest, baddest station playing that music in the manner? People said to me, it's Deja Vu. You want to hear this new station? It's Deja Vu. You need to go over to there.
Okay.
So now, fast forward to now, me being in my record shop in Leytonstone, we'd have all the promoters come in and sell tickets.
Okay.
So this lady walked in, Laura, was like, yeah, can you sell tickets for this event? I was like, yeah, no problem. What radio station? Deja. I was like, oh, I've heard that name. What are you saying? Give man a show. So I said, yeah, but you're a jungle DJ. You're not really a garage DJ. So I had trouble convincing them that I could actually do that. I was
That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah. So
Was it Pirate then?
yeah, it was a pirate.
Okay.
So Deja had just started. I think it might have been coming up to its first year.
Okay.
Because it went to its first birthday bash.
Yeah.
Met up with him again. So everywhere she would go, I would always be there, or a link, or you know what I mean. It was like everywhere I go, it was like the synergy. It was like saying that this is what I'm meant to be doing.
Okay.
So anyway, fast forward, it came out that there was something that they were doing, and they called upon my services. I think it might have been advertising, you know, at a recording studio. I was a tech person. I knew about this equipment and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, they offered me a show.
Okay.
Started doing the show.
What year?
96.
96 still, yeah.
Yeah, so I came off Rinse, joined Deja.
So Deja was founded in 95, was
95, yeah, 1995.
it? Wow.
So I joined just after it started and started being seen as a garage DJ, yeah, doing my thing, learning the ropes, coming up, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And serving my time, to be honest with you. But I was working with engineers, producers and stuff and doing my thing. So that's how that started. And then throughout the time, you had the management team would sometimes change on Deja. You know what it is when you start off as a collective,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So Laura moved on, but I still see Laura and big up Laura
Yep.
to this day. She actually made me laugh. Last time I met her, she was kind of showing me all the tapes or all the demo tapes that, because to get on radio then,
Yeah.
you would normally have to send in
Yep, yep.
a cassette tape.
Oh, that's real
Demo
school,
tape,
boy.
yeah. And we chat a lot.
I don't think the kids know what
Yeah.
cassettes are nowadays.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, man. Everything online. But then it wasn't just Laura and Jimmy. There was obviously Fatal. There was Naturalist, Randy C. There was Frisky. Of course, can't forget big up man like Sting, who's still about to this day.
Oh, big up.
Man like Diesel, D Power.
Diesel, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
There was
Diesel.
all these people like Diesel was like my younger brother.
Okay,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? That, you know, so I don't go anywhere, and I'm not that type of person to say, yeah, me's all Deja. It's all me.
Okay.
Me.
Okay, big up then, big up.
What I find in this thing is when people do certain things or speaking about certain things or certain things are being written about and someone says, oh, that's the founder, that's the godfather, that's the creator, but no, not one person done the whole thing. It's
I hear you.
impossible.
It's collective.
It's a collective.
Yeah.
And there's nothing taken away from my accomplishments of acknowledging the fact that I did not start that thing.
That's a real big up, though, because
Yeah, I mean.
a real triller knows to give salutes to everyone else that was involved.
yeah.
Because you could have took the crown for yourself right now.
Yeah, but
and
I'm
you could have
not-
owned it.
Yeah,
Easy.
But I don't do that. I know I would be the first to say my mission to keep Deja alive.
Yes.
Keep Deja moving, and whenever Deja needs like something,
Yeah.
I'm there just from the beginning. Like I was brought to Deja for a reason, and I've stayed there for a reason.
Deja's the UK's most influential underground station for
That's how
audio and visual now.
that's what we push, because if we look at the values. So I'm staying true to
The roots.
why Deja was started in the first place.
The roots, right?
Yeah.
True to the roots.
Yeah.
That's your slogan, right? True to the roots.
Yeah. Well, that's not our slogan. It's the most influential. But behind that is sticking to being the authentic sound that it is. Because on one hand, you could say, well, why was there a Deja? What was the need for pirate radio? And the need for pirate radio at the time was because our music
weren't getting played in
weren't
commercial.
getting played.
I heard.
Yeah. So we did not do pirate radio for the thrill or the buzz of doing something illegal. It's never about doing something that was illegal. It was about doing something like what else? How else?
You saw the vision. You wanted to manifest it into real life.
Yeah,
Like make it legit.
No, Deja is legit.
No, you wanted to make it legit in the future.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is think of a time where, if you look at the history of pirate radio
Yep.
and why there was a need and what the original pirate radios were, like ships out in the sea.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where the name comes from. So if you look at stations like Radio Caroline,
I didn't know that.
yeah, so Radio Caroline in the 1960s was a station that would go off to sea and broadcast there outside of territories.
That's why it's called Pirate Station.
And what they would do would play a lot of black music
Okay.
from. Now, if you listen to the mainstream platforms,
Yeah.
stations, radio stations of the time, you would not hear authentic music being made by people like me and you.
Okay, let's go back to that time. That time was what, 90...
Well, throughout history, if you look back you can go back to the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
But you can look at the reggae music industry. Sound systems fulfilled that role.
Yeah, you're
Sound
right. You're right.
systems and house parties and parties in community centres
Yeah.
filled that role.
Yeah, you're
the
right.
sound systems travelled up and down the country,
Yeah, you're right.
playing that music and blowing up reggae music.
That's why it's so big, isn't it? The
It
sound
was
systems.
not the radio stations.
No, you're right. You're right.
In
You're
our
right.
community and culture, our music, i.e. the jungle, the garage and whatever came afterwards,
Yeah.
in that period of time, soul, funk, boogie, those musics, yeah, the mainstream radio stations did not play that. So we had to create our own.
Okay.
Just like fast forward today, you will have certain artists making music, but it doesn't get played on mainstream. Thus, they will create their own YouTube channel, social media platform, and put out their own. So we were just doing it. Just happened to be that our method
Yeah.
was seen as illegal because it was an unlicensed radio station. But as I say, we never done it to be illegal. We just done it to push our music, underrepresented in music.
Can you tell me? Sorry, bro.
You could argue whether that's needed today with modern technology, being the sense that there's now internet and you can listen to music via other means now. Is there still a need to have an illegal pirate radio station broadcasting on a frequency, breaking a law? Is there? I'd say probably not.
No, not anymore.
However,
Oh.
what is more important now than has it ever been is the mentality and the ethic of why pirate radio stations existed in the first place.
yeah.
It was to play underrepresented music,
Yep.
music that is not breaking through to those platforms. So still to this day, those mainstream stations now that proclaim to being stations that play this and this, there is still a hierarchy of politics that unless you make music like this, we're not interested. So what they have people doing is conforming and changing their own, no longer being 100% true to themselves and potentially making music just to be heard. I don't even like this music, but I'm going to make it because that's the only way I can get up on this platform. But I don't really believe the lyrics that I'm saying. I'm just going to make it to get on this
So
platform.
would you say they're selling out?
This has been the thing throughout. So in order for you, so roll back now. In order to get your music on these mainstream stations, you had to conform to making popular music. Pirate radio stations are like, no, you keep it as you are, and we'll play you. So the jungle was real, the garage was real, the early grime was real.
Yeah.
You can't play that music on them stations, but we'll play it because there's an audience for it. So my belief with a station like Deja today, it doesn't need to be a legal pirate radio station. People say to me, "Oh, you legal?" Of course, it's legal. Yeah, it's a legitimate business. It's a legitimate station. the music is, our policy is to play the underrepresented in music, to say to an artist, you can be true to yourself, be you, and as long as the music is to the best of your ability, it's mixed, mastered and produced correctly, because we're not saying now we'll play any music. It still has to be good music, still has to be quality, yeah? And from when it's good, we'll play it.
Okay, that
It's not...
That was the ethos, yeah?
Yeah, so that's the ethos of Deja, why we exist today, to be that gatekeeping platform that will, one, give people a chance, because people only take certain people seriously once they know that Deja are talking.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
it's representative, isn't it? You
yeah.
represent them,
So whether our role is now more of a gatekeeper, you come in, you've just come out of a youth club, a school, or the streets, and we're gonna take you, and we're gonna be that person that plays you, because we know once we start playing you, they'll start looking.
You know, I want to hear sometimes, yeah. Tell me about some times and difficulties you endured running a pirate radio station. Because did you get locked off at any point?
Deja would always be locked off.
I used to hear that a lot, actually. And what do you mean lock off? What used to happen? Tell me the process. What used to happen?
Well,
Did they come remove the antenna? What was it?
well, you had the engineer team, for example. I was not part of the engineer team, yeah. But you had the engineer teams, the guys you had the guys that would go and put the aerials on and do all of that sort of stuff. My main thing on Deja has been as a DJ.
Okay,
I was a DJ, presenter, and if there was anything wrong with the studio side,
Yeah.
that's down to me.
Okay, yeah.
The putting on the roof and all that was down to someone else.
Okay.
But what would happen is because it's that element is illegal, of course, if you get caught, you can get done, or the DTI would come out and chop you, you know what I mean, and you'd have to move it, do whatever, where you would have to broadcast from.
How much time did it move?
Oh, all the time. I mean, we're talking, the station was going on for many, many years, so it was always a thing of having to move it, redo it, put it up again, boom, boom, boom. That was always a thing, but that's nothing unique to us. That's just how it was. Yeah, I think some of the challenges that we faced was it felt like because you had to move in silence almost.
That's ironic.
Yeah.
For a music station.
Yeah, move in silence. Like you would not be able to have this conversation with me 10 years ago.
I bet. I can see that. Okay, I get you. So,
if anyone wanted to talk to me about this or talk to any of the previous management about this, no one would talk to you.
Have you been on a set and police have come and locked it off? Like live in your set?
I haven't. But one of the most hilarious stories that come to mind was I once got a visit from the police. I can say it now. Because we had one of our most famous studios was the roof. The roof was on top of a nightclub, EQ nightclub. We had a nightclub, Sting had a nightclub, Waterden Road, the old powerhouse. Okay. And on top of the nightclub, we had the studio. And I remembered one Friday evening, I was doing my show. And I turned around and there was several police behind me.
Just like that? You was unaware until you turn around?
I turned around. Now with me, because I know what can happen as a result of you being caught, because I've heard and I've seen people that, if you get caught for that, your records are gone. Now, you better remember, we're DJing vinyl. They're not MP3. There's not no music on a USB stick. You use your USB stick, you got a backup. Them records you're taking, that's your thing.
It's your bread and butter, right?
So I know if you get caught, everything's gone. So I looked and I was like, yeah. In the space of 2 seconds, what went through my mind was, I've got that tune, I've got that tune, I've got that tune, I'm going to lose this tune, everything gone, everything gone.
Wow, that's a DJ's nightmare right there, isn't it?
In the space of 2 seconds, my life flashed, but I was more thinking, so I'm going to lose this one, boy, that's a tune, And then that's what was going on in my mind. The words that came out of my face was, can I help you? And they went, we're looking for such and such. And I said, well, he ain't here, is he? And they went, all right, as you were.
That's it.
And they walked out.
Wow.
And
So you got a touch.
I got a touch. And my voice was never the same after that for the remainder of the show.
What do you mean? What did you just...
Well, like I just had to say, guys, if you only knew what just happened there,
Oh,
but I'll tell you what, I'm going to count my blessings, I'm going to put the mic down, I'm just going to play some music, and I'm going to get the hell out of there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's so many things over the years, difficulties with regards to radio politics, the code of radio, making sure that stations can get on. There was competition between radio stations. We used to clash a few radio stations, had fallouts and fall-ins with radio stations, DJs jumping from one to another, events, some good events, but then politics with regards to events. It's an upward and onwards struggle. Trying to keep the management team together as well. It's not easy because people have lives, and there's many radio station owner, boss, management, engineers that do their time and want to move on. They have families. As we get older, I was a young guy then. As you grow up and get older and other things become more important, sometimes people might tap out just because they want to spend time with their family.
I get that.
You know what I mean? So it's about your why, and do you still want to continue doing this? And if you do, you just and crack on.
Deja has been such an influential part of my childhood. The spark for me to become an artist was listening to Deja.
Okay.
Yeah. So that to me, that's the beginning of who I am. That's when I really was consciously aware of who I am and what I wanted to do in life. So I gotta give props to you for, well, you came under fire for a while. Do you feel me?
Okay.
And you don't even know that, but that just shows I'm just one of many.
Yeah.
So I'm privileged to be able to do this interview with the man that came under the little battery pack. You get me?
On behalf of all of the people that were involved in keeping it moving and getting it there to enable that to happen, I will accept that on behalf of all of us.
Big up, my bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate that highly. So, because we rushed ahead and we got into the Deja talk straight away, we didn't find out much about you, where you're from.
Yeah.
Like, talk to them. Where you from? Where'd you grow up? What country you originally from? Your parents?
Yeah,
give it to him.
It does feel like one of the things when people talk to me about Deja, it's almost like there was life before Deja, and there's life kind of outside of Deja as well. Deja is just one finger in the things that we do, by way of I was already an active DJ producer and had done radio before Deja. Deja, I was active for nearly 10 years
Before Deja
came about.
So you got a lot of history.
Yeah.
A lot of history.
Yeah.
Was you on any other stations?
Yeah. So I started in 1986, so that's 10 years
Cool.
before I done my first show on Deja.
Wow.
So when I started, I always say I was born into it. My dad was a sound man. My dad had sound, so I was always around music. I was always around musicians. I was always around parties as a kid growing up. So I was.
You're a sound man.
Yeah.
Naturally.
So I came up as a sound man. So I had a sound at school. I was always fascinated with sound. And always fascinated with the equipment. So people that know me now know I'm a bit of a techie.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Yeah, gadgets and you know what I mean. That's my area. And I would find at home playing with my mum's stereo, a hi-fi system, disconnecting speakers and wiring up speakers and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's where that was what my keen interest was. So when we started mucking around with sound, I grew up in a big house in Leighton. That we had a basement, rather big basement.
Yep.
And in the basement,
You have a studio.
studio. There was a recording studio. There was a rehearsal space as well.
What's this?
Largely bigger than this room.
Bloody hell.
And we had live bands that used to practice and rehearse and do music. And when they were gone, I used to go back in there and tinker with stuff.
You to soak up all that frequency,
Yeah. And then around the time as kids, we were getting into like the hip hop music, the hip hop culture, the music that was coming from the States and stuff. Yeah. So we was into a lot of electro, a lot of hip hop, and try and mimic it, try and do stuff. And then fast forward into like sort of 88, 87, 88, 89.
Okay.
Around us, the sort of dance music was getting big for my generation anyway. There was generations before me, with the soul, the reggae, that the elders was listening to. Then we started to kind of get into kind of like, you had the hip hop element, hip house, acid house, dance music, rave.
Yeah.
And that's the times when I'm now a teenager, leaving school. By the time I left school, it was 1989, coming up to 1990, we're kind of like experiencing the raves and stuff, and our music styles in terms of what we were playing at the time in house parties and stuff started changing, ushering in the rave, the hardcore scene. And that's when I met up with some of my other peers at the time, man, like Busy B.
Okay.
That's the record label, Brain Records. We both lived in Leighton. I would travel to his house and we would make electronic dance music. At the time it was hardcore jungle techno music.
I bet.
So we was making their music in the early 90s, pressing it up, releasing it doing its thing.
Yep.
In order to get our music out, there weren't no mainstream radio station playing it.
Right.
You
had to go to stores itself.
There wasn't no mainstream club that was playing it. You had to go to a party that was put on, a rave that was put on. Now they're saying illegal raves and stuff like that.
I used to try the music out then.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way though.
This is it.
The best reaction.
So the illegal raves of the late 80s and stuff were not illegal because they wanted to make them illegal. It's because there was nowhere else to do it. Yeah? For me anyway, I just wanted my music played. Someone set up a radio station locally. We would go up there and play. So I went on stations like Format FM, Pressure FM, Underground FM. There were so many stations that we would travel upon in the early 90s, and a lot of fond memories. But as we started getting older, so I'm coming from my teens into 20s now, and that's when you start kind of thinking, right, okay, we're on radio, we're making music, we're on radio, we're doing our music, we're going to clubs, we're doing our thing. What's the next thing? We want to put out our music. Let's get a record shop. So me and a couple of guys, we got together and we put in, and then we got a shop in Leytonstone and we started selling, retailing. So we had the sound, the record label, the radio show, the record shop.
Really about that life?
Yeah, and pushing, because that was our way of doing things. That was our way. Travel into that area. You got your records, you need to sell your records around London, around the UK. If you can get a distribution deal, you're good. If you're not, you get in your car and you drive there. Do you know what I mean?
Grind.
Yeah.
The grind's real.
Yeah. There was no internet to do it for us.
Yeah.
And that's how we built up our network. And it was through that, knowing different engineers, different producers, different promoters, different radio station owners. You know, I think it was more the era that we grew up in, and the areas that we would go to play our music is how I got to be on, for example, Pressure. Through Pressure, I got to meet the guys on Rinse. I then done a show on Rinse. I then took that back. I then went and done Deja. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, that's how it kind of went.
Yeah.
It didn't kind of go like...
No, that was just your path.
Yeah, one day I'm doing this, the next day I'm doing that. There was a natural progressional, do you know what I mean, transition from one to another. But my thing has always been about playing music that's true to myself.
You see, when Lauren left, did she pass on the torch to you straight away?
No.
Okay, so how did that happen?
So, at the time, you had Sting. Okay. Yeah, Sting. Big up Sting. Yeah, Sting will be doing his podcast and features and stuff, and I think he might actually have a coming out as well. But Sting now was the promoter energy, real big promotion energy behind Deja.
Okay.
Sting was
Big up Sting.
The main energies behind the jungle rave Telepathy.
Okay.
Yeah, which if you know, Big up Brett as well. If you know about what telepathy done for the music culture, and Sting is still an entrepreneur who gets venues. Yeah, big up the Windrush crew as well. Sting was kind of in the background at the time on the radio. Laura was very much in the foreground. Then we had the engineers, and you had me as like kind of like the techie dude. Do you know what I mean? And it was kind of put. Do you want to take over? I didn't want to at the time, if I'm really honest with you, because it weren't really for me. I'm very much a behind the scenes person.
Yeah, you always say that.
Yeah, very much. I'd rather just be in the back doing.
I had to force him on camera today, guys. You know.
Yeah. I'll set up studios. I'll set up a camera, but don't put me in front of a camera. The irony is, I actually do a radio show where there's a camera.
I know.
Yeah,
I
but
know.
I don't like being on camera.
I know.
Yeah.
You said that. You said that many times.
And how it went at the time was Laura, bless her, really wanted to kind of focus on other elements of her life.
Okay.
And had to put other elements of her life first.
I'll get that.
Which you can only but respect that.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. In comes Randy C. But Randy C was on the station anyway. Randy C was a young DJ MC on the station that was like, I'm going to do his voice there. He's going to laugh at me. I'll have a bit. You know what I mean? So Randy kind of came in and was kind of front end managing that side of the station.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's and then Laura kind of went and done her thing.
Okay, so how did you take over then? When did you take over?
We've got to fast forward back because it's almost like we're in a time machine now. So how my involvement with the station has been since the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
But behind the scenes.
Yep.
Yeah. But from a perspective looking forward.
A pillar.
Yeah.
You're a pillar.
But from looking forward, I only ever, and still to this day, only want to be known as a DJ on Deja.
I know.
It's not important who's running the station. It's not important. I don't want to be introduced as, there goes Dlux.
I know.
Boss of Deja.
I know.
I'd rather be like, there goes Dlux.
But that's your title, bro.
He's a DJ.
But that's your title.
On Deja. I'd rather be known for being a good DJ, not for Deja, if that makes sense.
I get you. But sorry, I had to bring it up like that, because I feel like you should be known as the man of Deja, because it's held a lot of greats there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is with Deja and my relationship with Deja. Deja, I feel like I'm part of Deja and Deja's a part of me from the moment I joined. Yeah, and this is where I will kind of take a bit of credit for something, because we have the many different management of Deja. Yeah, and each with their own area that they bring to the table.
Yep.
Whether it be the promotional element, whether it will be making sure that the rig's on, whether it's making sure that, we've got the right DJs, the events, and giving props to a man like Diesel, for example.
Yep.
Diesel really was the one that was pushing the grime.
Yes. I know.
He was.
I know.
Yeah.
I can
and
see
I know,
it.
like, sometimes it's like, no, he was.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, because Diesel was...
Big up Diesel.
Like, for example, I know Diesel through my record shop.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So he used to come.
Diesel came and done work experience at my record shop. Diesel. This is why I've got to big up Diesel.
Look at the history.
And Nicky Slimting.
Look at the history.
Yeah? Diesel and Nicky Slimting. I know those two young men through coming and doing work experience in my record shop to give them this record shop in Leeds. But those two in particular.
Foundations.
Whereas a lot of Jammer as well, got a big up Jammer.
Okay.
Used to come in. Yeah. But those ones in particular, with everyone else that used to just come in and doss around, or come in and buy tunes, or sit around and do whatever, like as kids, those two in particular, you could see they had a certain...
They were engines. They were engines themselves.
So it weren't, come, let's go and jam at the shop. It was like, let's go to the shop and work out how to make music. So Nicky was like, I hear you got studio stuff as well, so what can we get in there? Because I want to build some beats.
Visionist.
Yeah. And with that, of course I have. I'll tell you what, you do this, I promise you can go in the studio. So man went in the studio. Diesel will be like, I'm on this thing. Like, I want a DJ. Diesel was a DJ, not an MC.
Yeah, saying that is crazy because his name was ringing a lot around those times.
Diesel, let me tell you something. Diesel, I'm going to tell him the truth now. Diesel was a DJ that came through our record shop.
Yep.
And me and him used to do back-to-backs.
Oh,
Yeah.
clashes.
No.
What, DJing? Yeah. DJ clashes.
Yeah, so
yeah.
if you listen to a lot of the early shows that I used to do,
Yeah.
like on Pressure FM, Diesel was there.
Okay.
Diesel perfected his mixing
Okay.
skill.
Okay, good.
Tight.
Good.
And he had a style of DJ, and I was, what?
Okay.
Come in. So Diesel came in as a DJ.
Big up.
Diesel came in as a DJ. He done a couple spots with us on Pressure. We went out Rinse. Even fast forward a little bit later, Diesel was part of our clique called the Debt Collectors. So we had MCs and hosts, Vinyl, Gift, yeah, all of these guys. And me and Diesel were the DJs. Diesel wasn't MCing then. But same with Wiley. My first meeting with Wiley on Deja was he came to Deja as a DJ.
Yeah. Wiley Cat.
Yeah.
DJ Wiley Cat.
And the first time I met Wiley properly was Laura rang me and went, Deluxe, can you cover that slot? I went, yeah, I'll cover that one. I went up there, but Jimmy had spoken to Wiley and said, Wiley, can you cover that slot?
Okay.
Yeah, so we both turned up
Okay.
at the same time, and I was like, I'm on. He went, no, I'm on. And I went, well, Laura told me I'm going to go do this. And that was my first meeting with him.
Oh.
He was a DJ. Diesel was a DJ. Yeah? So...
Mad.
But he was a hungry DJ and wanted to do...
Wiley?
No,
Diesel?
He wanted to do promotions. He didn't want to stop with the DJing thing. He wanted to, what else I could do? I want to do an event. I want to do an event. And because he's from Leighton, he wants to do an event and he wants to bring in, do you know what I mean? So when Diesel was given an opportunity to say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to bring this person, I want to bring that person, I want to bring that
He
DJ, I want
grabbed
to
it.
bring...
Both hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah, he did.
A big
What
man.
all we said to Diesel was, because it's like in terms of our age,
Yeah.
I've got a few years on top of him.
Yeah.
We were like, well, do your thing, man. We had, for example, Randy's event was Last Man Standing.
Okay.
Last Man Standing took place in Legends in Barking. Dill's interpretation, because he was a few years younger, was, I want to do an event. All right, go on then. What do you want to call it? I want to call it Young Man Standing, but this is going to be an under-18s event. So Diesel doing the under-18s event, you got to remember, I got 10 years on Diesel.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get excited about an under-18s event. Yeah, because he's doing under-18 events. I'm pushing nearly 30. So do your thing. He did. Do you know what I mean? So we as elders, our job is to kind of...
Guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Done his thing.
100%.
Done his thing.
Now, big up Diesel.
Yeah, done his thing. So I think, like, yeah, it's all about... I will not come here and say, I invented that, I done that, or me. Nah.
You're the link.
But that's the link.
You're the link.
And what I think is most important is when people have these ideas, the initiatives, or the belly for it, as elders, or as facilitators, or people that have a resource.
What do you do? Amplify it.
Yeah.
100%.
You see you're doing that? All right. What do you need? All right. Still to this day, Diesel can ring my phone. He did last week. D, I got this thing. It's called The Roof. We're gonna stream, boom, boom, boom. Can you? Yeah, no worries. Don't. What date? All right, cool. It's gonna be done. So those roof sessions that Diesel's doing, that's both of us still working to this day.
That's good.
Do you know what I mean? Still to this day.
So that Deja has solidified a relationship between you two.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was bound to happen anyway because of when me looking back at hindsight and how it went, it had to happen.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, it held some of the greats in there. You had Titch.
Yeah.
Lethal B.
Lethal was another funny one.
Kenny Allstar.
Kenny Allstar's another one, yeah.
Wiley, Kano, Storming, Rest in Powers. Do you feel me?
Yeah,
you had the whole nasty crew in there.
Yeah.
You had the Conflict DVD got filmed in there. The infamous Titch and Dizzy Rascal beef. Was you there?
We was always about, but we were never around them videos. As I said to you before, back then, wherever there was a camera, we would not be there.
So what? Deja just under 30 years then, right now.
Yeah, just under 30 years.
So the next 2 years will be 30.
I'll do the maths, yeah.
What are you doing for it? You do anything?
Yeah, we're going to do something.
Okay.
Basically, we've now realised that we acknowledged that there's periods of Deja's history, like, and heritage, and what Deja done for the British music culture, that
Big time.
it never truly got its recognition.
It didn't.
But I'm here to tell you now, that's our fault.
Okay.
Because if I don't talk about it,
Accountability, I like that.
if Sting don't talk about it, or Diesel don't talk about it, or Lady Laura don't talk about it, well then who's going to tell our story? The story that's going to get put out there, it's going to be...
It's not going to be yours.
It's not going to be our story. It's going to be their story, his story. Yeah?
Yes.
So what's transpired is I'm sitting back looking at TV programs. I'm looking at documentaries. I'm looking at features. I'm looking at different things. And I'm, oh yeah, this that person that... And then listening and I'm thinking, at no point are you going to actually say how things really went. Oh, so you're just going to take all of, So I'm looking at, so at first I used to get angry and I used to go, you were given an opportunity.
It's crazy. It's common in this game, isn't it?
To say how things were, or the things that were there, the platforms that were there, the things that gave you a leg up, the things that you would do, and given the opportunity to say, this was because of Deja, you won't even...
The lack of gratitude is crazy.
So at first I was angry. I was angry when I saw documentaries having footage of Deja studio. So imagine this now. There's a documentary of footage of inside Deja studio with people doing do. But that visual is being accompanied by a narrative for another platform, for example.
They're giving no credit to you.
So how hard would it have been, like, because I've seen this in documentaries, when you have a clip of something from 20 years ago, it will have in the bottom corner, blah, 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 19 however long. Just put the credit in there. So I was really angry. I'd be like, Steve would ring me up. I say, bro, I'm seeing it too. We used to be so angry at that, but we would be angry in silence because remember, we're not talkers now. We're kind of silent people. We don't really talk our thing. We just do the thing. I'm old school in the sense of just do your thing. You don't talk. So I'm now more angry with myself. We allowed that to happen because we didn't talk. Because we didn't talk, people rewrote
the history. Damn.
Yeah. So...
Damn.
That's changing.
Damn.
That's changing because we don't need your film crew. We don't need your film because we are enablers and facilitators, and many of us can actually get the kit.
Yeah, do the thing.
Get the kit.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, so that's about our story is going to be coming out in time.
When?
For our 30th.
Oh, I look forward to that.
So in that story, we're just going to tell the truth.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, we're going to tell the truth. We're going to tell our story of our involvement, and it's more going to be the story of black British music. And
Heritage.
It's heritage, and I think getting our history down is very important so people know.
True to the roots.
It's not a thing where we are here just to say, oh, we're Deja. This is how great we are. And Deja, listen, no.
Okay.
No, because anyone can tell a story to make themselves look good. A lot of documentaries, a lot of programs have an agenda. So no,
I agree.
We would like to tell a story of a certain time in history, in this area. And we believe it's a thing where everyone should be spoken about.
I agree.
Just by doing that as a default, Deja will receive.
What would you say the most rewarding part of being a DJ is?
DJ?
Yeah.
Well, the most rewarding part of it, that's, to me, that's taking it completely away from Deja and now bringing it back to Deluxe.
Okay.
The most...
Where'd you get your name from?
My name was inspired by what I want to be known for.
Okay.
So Deluxe is quality.
Okay, yeah.
So at the backbone of what I try to do as a DJ is provide quality, whether it's music, ability, how I play, it's quality, to the point where without an MC, you will know I'm DJing.
Okay, big.
There's DJs that some DJs will need an MC to introduce. This is now DJ boom boom boom. You can tell my DJ style without even hearing one word.
That's big.
And that forms the basis of what I do. The most rewarding part of that is when I execute that and someone afterwards says to me, yeah, you got me there. You know what I mean? Helping someone. So I can go back to the most rewarding, for me rewarding is kind of impacting on someone's life with my ability to play music. So that's as Deluxe. That's completely different to Deja. Yeah, I'll explain that same question for Deja Vu, but for me as a DJ, even in more recent times, I can make reference to in the lockdown. In the lockdown, I done something like 100 days on the trot, 100 radio shows on Deja, because we was all stuck at home. And I said, well, there's no clubs, there's no nothing to do. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch on and just do a show a day until, at the time I was thinking, oh, it's going to be a couple of weeks. This lockdown's going to be a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you didn't know, we didn't know, did
A
we?
couple of months. If that, I didn't realise 100 days on, I'm still doing shows.
Wow, 3 months plus now, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it got to the 100th show, and I marked it by doing a 100th show special, and there was a little cake, and the feedback I got from people was probably the most powerfulest of things put to me. It was actually quite a lot. I wasn't used to it. It wasn't the music necessarily that they were appreciating. It was the fact that I took time out to actually entertain people stuck in a pandemic, going through things. And then you got to look at all the things that pandemic caused. And I'm talking about in terms of just the mental well-being of people being stuck at home, looking at the news and the media and everything. It is messing with people's head. And just to be on radio for a couple of hours to take people away from all of that and uplift them and do things, it was very powerful. So I found almost like a new lease in life by way of using my God-given abilities for positive. That's been the most rewarding thing out of nearly 40 years of being a DJ. The fact that still to this day, I mean, that was then. I'm now on, I think I've done something like 700 shows since lockdown.
Wow.
I do I do shows pretty much every day still. And the reward in that is when I get a message from someone that might have gone through something that day and gone, you see, when I looked into your show today, that was the first time I laughed.
Oh, good, man. That's dope.
Or I was going through something, or I still am going through something, but you know what, just for them 2 hours, and I want to thank you. So now, even me now, some days I get up to do my show and I'm man's tired, or my God, I've got this to do, or I've got this going on. Sometimes I feel to myself, who am I to complain? At least I've got the ability to use these. If I've got the ability to use what I have in front of me, I've got a radio station, I've got this, I've got that. Why can't I use that? Do you know what I mean? Who am I to, you know what I mean, moan about my life? Do you know what I mean? So that's the most rewarding thing that I find now. With the radio station, the most rewarding thing is knowing that when that guy or girl came to this radio station, like when Kenny All-Star came to Deja, I admit I didn't know he was a school kid at the time. But when Kenny All-Star came to Deja and asked for a show, how he presented himself was reason number one. What he said. I went, yeah, you're going to get a go. What he's done post Deja, that is very rewarding. I love to see that.
Voice of the streets, he says.
I love to see that. When I see, but wait, this is why I think it's so important, and this is why it's so much a bigger part of my job. We are like almost like gatekeepers. Someone wants to come in. Sometimes the doors are shut. I'm a person that will be like, no, I'm going to hold that door. I'm going to hold that door. Come in. Come in. I'm going to guide you through. Now do your thing. Yeah? So the most rewarding thing for me and with Deja now is to make sure that we stay open as a way in to the industry the right way. And on the way, we're going to prep you on, keep an eye out for this, keep an eye out for that. And now you're with us and you go through. You ain't got to stay with us. Because we're never someone to say, you stick with us. You can come, develop, go do your thing. You ever need us, I'm here. Just don't burn your bridge. You burn your bridge, you're gone. But for when you don't burn your bridge, any problems, you come back and see Uncle.
So you're rewarding things to seeing others develop.
Yeah.
Oh, that's big.
Every now and then, even when Lethal, I recorded Lethal's first track.
Right.
He walked in, the story was really funny. I know Lethal's giving his version of that story, but what Lethal didn't realise at the time was I bought a new piece of equipment and we had a recording studio at the roof where Deja was. I had a recording studio. And I bought a new piece of equipment and I was testing it out, playing different sounds, bass sounds. Ooh, I was doing all of that. I wasn't making a tune. I was testing sounds because that's what you do. You test and see what's there.
Yeah.
He walked past with Diesel and was like, what tune's that? Give me the mic. And Lethal literally picked up the mic and sprayed bars. Diesel recorded it and said, right, that's a dat. I was like, bro, and they went. People think that I actually made a tune called Tonight on purpose.
Wow.
That Tonight tune that I've seen and I've seen DEE do a thing on it.
Wow.
That was not even meant to be. That was actually me testing something else. But they do say creations come from things. I did not wake up that day, go into the studio that day. We didn't pre-arrange no studio session with Lethal.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't. I'm going to make this tune, and you're going to come and you're going to spit on this tune, and we're going to do and it's going to be this. And some people are playing it as grime. It was not planned. It was not planned. I was still DJing garage, and I was tinkering around. None of my other tunes sound like that tune thus far. It was just something that happened.
Life works like that though. It's funny because I didn't think I'd be doing a podcast today.
Yeah.
I started off as a radio host.
Yeah.
Here I am doing a podcast. So it's just the way it is. It's meant to be.
Yeah.
Like that little bit he heard was enough for him to come.
I kid you not, he walked past the room, and I can see it now. You know, like when someone walks past a door and then comes back and was like,
yeah.
Give me the mic. But you see how he done that?
Yeah.
He heard, he saw,
Executed.
and executed. And he still does that to the day.
There's a natural thing in him.
You can't see when people are like that.
Yeah. They're the men.
Yeah.
They're dangerous.
Yeah.
They're winners.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But what's your best ever set? Did you get international bookings?
Yeah.
What's your best ever set? Has it been international or has it been home?
See, I play across genres.
Yeah.
And in different countries.
Yeah.
Some of my favourite sets have been in Sweden, Stockholm.
Yeah.
I've done some good sets in Jamaica, but then my sets in Jamaica were more adapted,
Of course.
to the locals.
Of course.
Because I'm known as multi now, and I started as a multi DJ, and then conformed to being just a jungle DJ or just a garage DJ. I've now gone back to being multi-genre. So my best ever sets are the ones that I can remember, are the ones that kind of meant most to people. Like, I kid you not, just last week, I done a set where a young lady came up to me. I say young lady, I'm just being kind. When I say young lady, I mean someone my age. How about that? Yeah, I'm 50. Someone my age came to me and went, you just played my life.
Oh, wow. Big statements there.
And then she went to walk out. I said, whoa, you can't say that and just walk out. And I said, "Oh, can I thank you? Because that's a really nice thing. That's a big compliment, and that's gonna stay with me."
So that set was her.
Life.
Like all the songs, she resonated with them.
Yeah.
That's big.
She said, "You took me through my childhood
Wow.
to today." And I don't know whether she knew what she was saying, and I was like, "You see that?
That's everything, you know. That means a lot.
Yeah.
That's worth getting up for.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
And it uplifts you, and it uplifts someone else. So it's like a win-win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
The money. And the most powerfulest of event I've ever done in my
That's
life.
nuts.
It is, isn't it? The most overwhelming and powerful one that's in my mind is the one that I can remember the last. Because there are clashes. I used to do a lot of DJ clashes. I can remember things like when we done Magic FM, Big Up Bigger, Rest in Peace, the Magic FM and Deja clashes, and some of the early garage sets, some of the early things that we done in jungle, performing and doing things for the first time. Brilliant. They'll always live with me. But I think it was my 50th birthday celebration. I don't really do these sort of things publicly, but it was seen and said to do something for your 50th. And I said, I have to celebrate life. So Mikey and Carlton from Soulbox said, do something. I said, okay, I'll do something. I want to make it a celebration of life event.
Oh, big up.
So we done it. And this was just earlier on this year. And it done my head, it blew my mind, because that event, because I've been across genres, I had people that I grew up with, I went to school with, was there. I had people that were around in the early hardcore rave jungle days. I had my garage crew, my late noughties crew, my current crew, all the different styles and dramas and people from walks of life that I've met over the last 50 years were in a room together listening to me play. The icing on the cake was my daughter was with me. So my daughter Ria was in the DJ booth with me as I played, and that's the first time she'd been and seen what her dad does. She sees it on video and photo and hears me talk about it, but she's never experienced
live in the flesh
dad.
now. Yeah.
Like, she knows me as dad.
Yeah, of course.
Not as this, but she's heard stories that your dad does this. So my daughter was there, plus everyone else. It was like I was at my own funeral.
Wow.
Because that's the only time, I'm sorry to make it sound morbid, but it's like the only time you get something like that is when someone passes. True.
So would you say you're lucky
Very lucky.
to witness that?
I was very lucky.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I can stop DJing now.
Oh, that's good then. Like, at least you're complete. You're the soul satisfied.
Yeah.
That's
Powerful.
man's lived the purpose.
Yeah.
Definitely a powers. Are you mad? But I've got one question to ask you about DJing before we move on to your award-winning youth organisation. Okay. I'm a media man, so my duty is to get to know everything inside the media, whether it's just a little bit. I got to understand it. So my question to you is: do you believe the audience understand and appreciate the intricacies of complex DJing? Because they don't really know what's going on in the background, do they? They're just listening to the music and feeling the vibes.
Do you want me to blow a hole in all of these teachings
Let's
and
go.
stuff that I do?
Let's go.
99.9% of the people do not care.
I know that. I just want to get it from a DJ saying it, because they can see where the real passion and love is really coming from. It's not coming from it's coming because I love doing this.
Let me tell you 2 things.
Go on, my boy.
3 things. Stop me if I tell you too many. I am known as a technical mix DJ.
Okay, yep.
Yeah? People that like me, not everyone likes me as a DJ. I'm not that mainstay. But if you like me as a DJ,
Yeah.
the chances are you may like me because of my technical ability.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, but yeah. Be useful, be useless.
I'm a technical DJ.
Useful.
But because I'm a technical DJ, I will go out sometimes, and I do it quite a lot on my radio station. I don't mix.
Okay. So what do you do?
I'll just play a record from start to finish.
Okay.
Some sets, on purpose, I will not mix.
Okay.
And that is to teach and show and prove to myself and understand it's selection first, quality first. Just as the same way as you will say to me, is it important for an artist to be a good singer and talent? Or is it more important for them to have a good marketing team and a good PR team and a good engineer to make them sound nice? The sad state is people don't care. They'll take what's served up, and if you've got a good PR team, marketing team, and your social media game is on point, and you are an influencer now, I don't even say artists no more. The celebrities are now influencers, influencing what? So the celebrity is not even the actual musician as such. Even now musicians, who are talented musicians, are swapping that to be an influencer.
Yeah.
So is it important that I've spent many, many years learning how to do this? Or is it more important that I learn how to play the game? So I know that I will prove that fact by I've learned, but I will go into a set and I won't mix. But for me personally, because of my own whys and why I do this, and you've got to remember, if I'm not happy with it, I won't do it. I prefer to mix using Technic turntables because I can decide what I use. I want to use Technic turntables. I want to use this piece of equipment. I want to learn it and I want to develop my style. Why? Because I want to have a certain style that, as I said to you before, you can hear me play without a jingle, without an MC. And know it's me playing.
That's big.
There's only certain DJs that can do that.
That's big.
Shall I give you an example?
Give an example.
You can hear DJ EZ play.
Okay.
And know it's him playing.
Okay.
Because you hear how he... You say, guess what DJ that is? You'll know it's EZ.
It's his style.
Yeah. You can hear a Jazzy Jeff or a different... You hear it.
Yeah.
You hear it.
You can,
You can hear it.
You can hear it.
Yeah. And I like that. I was like, I want to have a style. I want to be a thing that you can actually just hear it. So that was something for myself as a lifelong thing that I want to do. Is that as important? Does it mean I'm going to get all the bookings? Do people really care? No, but I care.
Okay.
And every now and then I'll execute it and someone will say to me, like what that young lady said the other day.
Big up.
Yeah, mate.
Big up. Yeah, your journey has been crazy, and I'm sure we're missing lots of jewels in between, but we can't get everything out in one day. But
it's never gonna be because it's multi. Because it's for me actually speaking to you here now. It's almost like we're flicking between Deluxe and Deja.
Yeah,
Deluxe and Deja are two completely separate.
Yeah,
things.
I know.
And then there's the pre and the after.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
you need a biography, man. You need a long biography.
Yeah, and I've never attempted to put the two together until more recently, because you got to remember, I lived much of my life as that person and that person, and it depends on which version you want. It's the version you'll get.
I'll get you.
Yeah, and behind it is me.
I'll get you.
And now I'm saying, this is it.
Okay. So since we're here and this is it, so you're currently running an organisation called Creative.
Yeah, so Creative Engagement Services is me.
Yep.
Because.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? Especially what I really want to hear is about the UK music heritage.
So basically,
courses.
What hardly anyone knew was that for many, many years, I actually worked for local government.
Yep.
And because I never would speak about it, I would, because of the importance, because of what I mentioned earlier with what Deja was doing, and the fact that what happened with, example being Diesel and Nicky Slim coming to the record shop, wanting to develop, come in, do work experience, go out and do your thing, people coming to the radio, and doing things, us being gatekeepers. It wasn't until much later people said to me, you know what that is? That's youth work. That's youth engagement. I'm like, no, what? No, it ain't. This is just, we just do this.
It was though, it is.
Someone said to me, no, sir, what you just done there
It is.
is.
It is.
And I was like, what are you trying to say? They said, no, you know, that there, that's an actual, you know, there's services that do that, and you're actually doing it without even realising. So me as an interested person, I got approached and they said, we got this project where we want to design a vehicle, a bus, a lorry,
Yes.
that can drive around to different areas and do. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, you just go. Can you do that for? That was Townlands Council. So in Townlands Council, I was that go-to person that would create these recording studios and different things to go to different estates to work with young people.
Big.
So what was happening naturally there, I was getting sent to the areas that had the most trouble.
Big.
I would just go to that area because that's just, we're from that area.
It's normal.
Like if you send me to Bow, I can say to you, well, you know what I mean, Bow, yeah, but you know that block there, well, that's where we used to do our shows from.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for me, it was like, you know what I mean?
It was, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like, that's where we do our shows from. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, so for me, it was no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah? So I done that, but what they said was, you do quite well at that. So I was like, well, okay, I'll do that. And they said, well, we can pay you to do that work. I said, well, okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. But then what I started noticing was actually it's actually real recognition for the work that we've been doing anyway, and we structure it. And can we make a difference? Because we're telling you about the stories of the people that came through and done well. We're not telling you about the people that came through and could have done even better, but didn't because there was things going on in their life. Never made it through because of other external factors. So for me, it's not always just about...
It is youth work. It's hitting me. It's actually hitting me properly. It's youth work experience.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So as I got older now, I'm going to remember now, I'm in my 30s now.
Sorry, because he developed a lot of skills from that to where he is today.
Yeah.
Nicky Slimton, he does films now.
That's right.
What are we talking about?
That's what I'm trying to say. As I got out of my teens into my 20s, now I've got kids myself, and now I'm in my 30s, and people are saying to me, that is that. And I'm like, yeah, I can see it now. As an elder man looking down and going, right, I'm 30, and that 20-year-old, I'm doing the same thing I done in the mid-90s with them, man. And you're telling me that's that? Well, I can tell you how I do. Some people say, how did you engage with that person that done blah, 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 because no one ain't been able to work with that. Well, I just dealt with them like I would with anyone.
Like it's normal.
Yeah. And what they responded to me, because I didn't come with no authority, I didn't come with no thing, I'm not da-da-da-da. And that's what started happening. So I'd done that for many, many, many years within local authority and worked in some real deep situations, working with some really, young people that were unfortunate, things going on in their life. And in the lockdown, I decided that it was time for me to leave local government.
Okay. Any particular reason?
Well...
don't want to be disclosing it.
Well, I can. It was decided that in lockdown that the cuts, government cuts, COVID cuts, it was like cuts were being made, to services. A lot of services, especially statutory services, they can be like, the service that I was providing, it was seen as an optional extra.
What, during lockdown where there's nothing to do? So, wait. So during lockdown where there's nothing to do, they chose to cut a service that benefits the youths. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. That's bonkers.
So
That makes no sense.
it made no sense. So I have to make sense out of nonsense. Don't get me wrong, their problem was not with me.
What was it? The financials.
It just had to go.
You don't know the reason why though?
Yeah, I know the reason. The service has to go, and you're up next.
Okay.
Now, I didn't take it personal because it wasn't personal to me. It wasn't a mark of, well, we don't want you or what you're doing is, it's got to go. I'm like, okay. So I was given two choices. Leave, or they put me into another area and I'll do a different piece of work. But that piece of work, to me, looked like what I do is engage.
Yeah.
I engage with young people. I engage with the community. I engage, develop, and push through. I don't enforce. I'm not enforcement. I'm not feds. I'm not police. Yeah. Although sometimes when I'm going out doing my work, I'm doing certain things that they should be doing or they can't do. So it gets left for me to deal with. Yeah. But I'm not enforcing. But I was told, well, you could do that. Nah. So I then decided that perhaps the path for me is to do my own.
Okay.
Because I've been doing it anyway.
So that's the birth of creative engagement.
So creative engagement services is essentially the last 30, 40 years of everything that I've done, from the early productions, the early DJing, the radio, the mentoring, this, that.
Consulting.
Yep. The youth work.
Marketing.
Yeah.
I see it all, bro.
All in one thing to say, this is me now. Because I saw it as that I'm not the only person that can do what I do. But I hope to show many people around that have similar skills to me how to package themselves and put themselves as a brand, as a product. Do you know what I mean? So I left local services and I said, this is what I want to do, and put myself up.
I think it's good as well. It's like proper good. One, let's say someone like me 10 years ago who wanted to get involved and with the youth and get involved. It's good to see someone like you do it, so I could.
Yeah.
I got a template.
I'll tell you what I noticed, and which made me. And to be fair, I'm going to say something because I don't have a bee in my bonnet with Timeless Council. I'm not going to put the person on thing now, but what I will say about a conversation I had with someone in the council at the time in lockdown, and I said, "You really going to do this?" And they were like, "Yeah, but it's nothing personal to you." And I said, "How about we do this?"
Okay.
And you know what they turned around and said
to
me? This is a private conversation, but I'll share it. Go and do you. And they looked at me, and that look was to say, go and do you. Yeah, I mean.
You're ready to fly, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
and
you.
I went, oh, was it? I'm going to do it. And they stepped aside and let me do it. And I must admit, they didn't block me, didn't stop me, I just done it.
Oh, good then.
Yeah. So although it was unfortunate that I left that area and that local authority and stuff, I think it was the right thing to do, and I think they thought it was the right thing to do.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
You have to rise again.
Yeah. So
on your own thing now.
So when I say they thinged it and got rid of it, it was really, it shouldn't have been within that. It should have been me doing what I'm doing. So what I noticed was the other thing was, you hit on it. I know so many people that have got the tools. I like to call them rough diamonds. I go out and I speak to that person and I speak to that person. I'm like, you're talking so much sense. You've got this, you've got that, and you da-da-da-da-da-da. What's your problem? And some of them just don't know how to set up a community interest company.
Do you see that all?
And I'm thinking, some is laziness. Some
it's knowledge.
Prevented from that piece of knowledge and piece of information. Can you imagine if that person knew how to execute boom, 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 so they're now out there and they can tender for some of these contracts, multi-million pound, 100,000 grand contracts to take on that piece of work. If they knew, all they had to do is go chuk, 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 chuk. Powerful. So it's partly some people are being prevented from knowing this information. Some people are lazy. But my thing was, if I can show as many people how to do it, oh, you see what you just done there? You know what I done? Someone told me I could do it, and now you're live. And so that's my thing. It's kind of to enableize. It's doing that same gatekeeping thing. Come true, bro. Come true. I don't see no reason why more people can't do it.
Okay, so if I wanted to get involved with your services, what would you recommend me to do? What direction you pointing me in?
What, you as powers? Or just
I'm
as a people?
just a person, just a random person. Imagine I come across your site. What's the next step?
The next step is just to reach out to me.
What's your site?
CreativeEngagementServices.com.
Okay, cool.
So it's Creative Engagement Services, and I use my creative expertise, knowledge, and facilities to engage with people, young people and adults, for different services.
Okay.
So it's almost like I want to be a person that you can approach as a business, as a local authority, as a community project, or even as a parent, and say, look, I've got this situation, what can we do? I will spend time understanding, learning, developing, and work on a solution. So my main job now is to go into a situation and come up with a service to deliver.
Okay, if I had a youth right now and I wanted to send him to your services, what would you do for him?
Right. I don't treat any young person as every situation is unique. So I would get to understand what is the issue, what is the need, and it could be that service is already being provided, it's just not being done in the right way.
Okay.
So around me, there are different organisations, different charities, different professions that offer services, whether it be music, whether it be mentoring, whether it be sports, whether it be well-being, and it's about getting that person the right level of support. What I don't like doing is someone saying, I've got this situation or this young person that's da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh yeah, sling them on the DJ thing. Take your money.
No, you want to see skill sets, don't you? You want to see what he's good at.
What he's good at, what his interests are.
Yeah.
It might be that he's not interested in none of that.
Exactly.
Or she's not interested in none of that.
So everyone's wasting time then. If that's the path we're going down.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
so
could be that situation there.
you screen them, kind of screen them, see what they're good at.
I assess the situation.
You assess the situation, so that's the best thing to say.
It could be that if you, it could be that situation is happening because there's certain boundary issues going on, or it could be because it's what you're showing them, it's what you've taught them, and if you adapted your thing or listened to your child, for example, and listened to them and reason with them on a level, you wouldn't have that problem.
That's facts.
Yeah?
That's facts.
Because not everyone has to be a DJ or a producer. Some people are just fine just being just cool as they are until they're ready to know what they want.
Wasn't Skepta a DJ?
Yeah.
I saw a clip of Skepta at Deja in the background when everyone was spitting.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he wanted to do then.
Yeah.
But look where he is today.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're right about that. 'Cause youths don't really know anyway. They don't.
And like my daughter says the same thing. I say to my daughter, "What do you want to do?" She's like, "Don't force."
Yeah, don't force that, man.
Yeah, it's
it'll
just
come.
When you're ready,
It'll
boom,
come.
boom, boom, you come. Now linking it back to the heritage program was at before lockdown or during lockdown. I have to remember the Rendezvous project. It spoke to me and was like, "We've got this thing. We're looking at the Borough of Waltham Forest."
Yep.
And what I liked about this one was it was like untold stories.
Okay.
And they were looking at the Borough of Waltham Forest and the role it played within rave music, 1989 to 1994.
Okay.
It was around those times that me, Busy B, Leonard D.I.'s, TDK, Friends FM, all of these people from this area had small contributions towards that scene. And it was about, they wanted to interview us and understand our stories, because our stories haven't really been published anywhere because we're silent people.
Yeah, I know. I'm a lucky one.
And they done a piece. And they interviewed not just us, they interviewed so many different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, loads of different people got featured on it. And this is something that you're going to know with me. I'm a collector of things. So I've got a collection of all the original flyers for every event I've played at.
Wow.
I've got I collect equipment and I collect things. And whenever Catherine would speak to me about, oh yeah, and they want it, I say, yeah, I've got one of them. Oh yeah, I've got that. So they done, like, for example, an exhibition in a museum, and some of the kit in there came from my garage. You know what I mean? So, and then what did happen after that was we spoke about how can we use this to show the generations coming up. And I said, well, I can show you straight away that you see this venue where we done our acid house raves. I could show you, for example, where some of the Lord of the Mics was shot.
That's basement.
No, the dungeons.
In Jammer's basement.
Yeah, but we used to shoot some stuff at the dungeons. Jammer's basement is Jammer's basement.
Yeah.
But we used to shoot some stuff in the dungeons.
Okay.
Leabridge Road.
Oh, okay. That's not far from here, then, is it?
Yeah. So a lot of the things we were doing around there, but there are certain crossovers. Yeah. So we wanted to show that we done this thing here. This person was linked to that person, was linked to that person, that met that person, and there we have today. So part of the heritage program was, one, to explain to people within a community the heritage and the different things that happened in this area in the previous sort of estates that are around us. Showing, for example, just around the corner, in that block there, that's where Kiss FM used to thing.
Okay.
Over there is where that club used to be. That went on to be that. That person who produced that is actually the uncle, dad, parent, sister, mother, brother of that person. And it's all linked. What we done there is linked to what's happening here today.
The philosophy has followed through.
Yeah.
Staying true to the roots.
Yeah, and then we done a project where we went to a school and we got, for example, a group of students learning music production on today's software.
Yep.
And because I still have all the original equipment I used to use to make music 30 years ago, I still have working to this day. So we brought it to the school and we gave them an assignment to make music using this.
Wow.
Not the thing with all the plugins. So with that, they got an appreciation of what depths we would go to produce music back then before the flashy press this button and it's all done for you type of thing. We would have to load, find, sample, get different things and build our own stuff. Once it was done, they would have to mix it, master it, and then go and take it to get a dub plate cut. So we worked with a bunch of kids from the big creative school down the road, finished off a couple of tracks, then we went to Music House and showed them how we cut dub plates. So these guys never seen acetate before, didn't see the big machines. We got to big up Chris and the guys that we spent a whole sort of day recording stuff, getting the dub plates come and then getting them to play it. And it was something really fascinating to see. And I think through that they got a real appreciation for how things were. And what we hope to happen out of that is just for people to have a deeper understanding of going an extra bit of, going the extra distance to be unique and be special and stand out. Because in this world we are today, the only people that are going to stand out, the only people that are going to bust are the ones that think outside the box.
100%. I agree with that. The services that you created is involved, is associated with a lot of other companies, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got Crate itself.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Tower Hamlets.
So
Wolf and Forest.
So I do some work around Wolf and Forest.
Yep.
Still do a bit of work around Tower Hamlets, around different areas. As I say, people will approach me with a project, an idea or a concept, and whether it can work or not, and I'll get in on that and do that. With Crate, we've got the podcast studio. With Young Urban Arts Foundation, that's UF.
Yep.
We've got the bus project. So that was a really exciting one for me. Big up the UF crew.
Odeon.
Yeah, so the Odeon was a project that Wayne Marshall had, that they wanted to do a screening and an event, and we live streamed all stuff.
This is big, bro.
Yeah,
this is big.
Down there, and yeah, there's so many. So it's almost like over the years, people contact me. It'll be like, if you're not sure, people tend to just contact me and say, we've got this idea, we've got this concept, we've got this thing. What are you saying? What can you do? And then, yeah.
So what's the future for creative engagement services?
The future for creative engagement services is to work with as many people like me, people that I could potentially learn from and develop and grow, and also be around to support other organisations
Big up.
that wanna. Do you know what I mean? It's a support mechanism.
Big up.
Creative engagement services is there to support other agencies fulfill something.
Yeah.
And I would like to find as many people that look at anything that I've done and gone, see that, if I could do that bit there, come in, man. Come in. Because I don't particularly want to be the only person doing everything. You know?
No.
I'm at a point where I actually meant to be slowing down.
Many hands make light work as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, I respect your vision. I respect how you conduct yourself. I respect how you articulate yourself. I respect that you give respect out to those that deserve it as well. You're not keeping it all for yourself.
Yeah.
That's one thing I learned for this interview. This is the interview, would you believe it, on this season is the most quietest I've been. Because I'm learning so much and I'm soaking it all in. And to me, this is like, it's an honor to interview you. Because, yeah, man, trust me, if you know, you know. But it's a big deal, man. And I'm very grateful to have you here and do this episode with you.
Oh, thank you. I'm very grateful to do this. And let's say, we've not known each other long, but trust me, people, this dude here, yeah, like, I'm not paid to say that. No one can pay me to say anything, yeah? But see this dude here, you need to keep your eyes on him. And trust me, if there's anything I can do, it's done. Yeah?
Thank you, Will. I appreciate that, man. So, this is Mr. DJ Deluxe. Thank you very much for coming on the Power Show.
Big up.
Powers.